The IPO market has certainly come back. We've been doing a story just this week. The Journal reported that the IPO market is the busiest it's been in years. Is that what you're seeing? Characterize the market for us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we saw January we raised more capital in January than we have in the history of the New York Stock Exchange.
Wow.
We're 226 years old.
That's a big deal.
So that's a big deal. And certainly so far we've seen 40 to 50 companies raise capital, $19.3 billion of capital on the NYSE so far in 2018. So we're outpacing what we saw in 2017. And 2017 was already a much stronger year than we saw the year prior. You know, obviously the uncertainty in the market, some of the things like the Brexit and the Brexit vote and the U.S. election led to a certain downturn in 2016 in the IPO market. So we're continuing to see us recover from that period of time.
Now, for a long time, China was a big customer, listing so many companies. That's still true, right?
It is still true.
But what's the case in terms of the trade issues and this trade spat that we're having with China? Has that slowed down the IPOs or the number of companies?
Not yet, but we're certainly focused on it. You know, we want to make sure that the U.S. markets remain competitive globally. What we've seen is Hong Kong and the London Stock Exchange loosen up some of their rules so that they can compete for U.S. listings. And we want to make sure that what we're doing is keeping the U.S. the most competitive place to raise capital.
So you still see the number of Chinese companies, it's still kept pace, you think?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. What is your expectation for the IPO market this year?
Yeah, it's still strong. Yeah, I do think it continues. We see, especially next month, we have a number of companies coming to market. At the end of Q3, we also have an upturn in additional companies coming to market. So I do think that it'll continue to be strong for the rest of the year. Tell
us about your priorities. I mean, you grew up on the floor of the exchange, and now people are wondering if the floor goes away.
Yeah.
At some point.
I certainly don't see the floor going away. It's such an important value that we can provide to our listed companies. And it's really unique, and they can't get that anywhere else. So we're dedicated to that trading floor. We're also dedicated to make sure that the issuer voice is part of the conversation. Just the subjects we've just talked about, the transaction fee pilot. We're concerned about what happens there for issuers and how it impacts them. So advocacy is an important part. That's why I'm spending my time down in D.C. And with politicians. And if I talk to President Trump, it's certainly top of mind that a government price-setting exercise to test whether or not the pricing on exchanges is right, is going to be an expensive experiment at the cost of issuers and investors. So advocacy is an important focus. And then also right-sizing regulation so that we're not creating a public market environment that's just good for big public companies. We want to see companies access the public market much sooner so that all Americans get the benefit of joining their growth.
Well, it's interesting because this president has been a lot about rolling back regulation.
Yeah.
And so when you look at this SEC pilot, it's not in step with what the president has actually been doing.
I think you would be surprised if he realized where we were heading with some of these regulations. And it's really interesting to see not only is the SEC looking to build up some of the pricing they put on exchanges, it's really at the expense of issuers.
Real quick, any other priorities that you want to talk about as the new leader of the NYSE?
Yeah, advocacy across the board, making sure that our listed company voice is part of that conversation is top of mind for me.
Stacey, it's great to have you on the program.
Thank you, Maria.
You're going to come down and do more on this and your new promotion. We congratulate you.
Thank you so much, Maria.
It's Stacey Cunningham, president of the New York Stock Exchange there.